nói chị.
Now let us go back to page 131. There is a list of types of consciousness. I wonder, any one of you add them up. Correct? Result. 46 types of consciousness arise in the I door. The 46 status are as follows. 1. 5 door adverting consciousness. 2. I consciousnesses. 3. Investigating consciousnesses. 1. Determining consciousness. 29. Sense sphere jhanas. 8. Registration.
44.
Only 44.
Yeah.
So two status are missing, right?
Yeah.
So after 2 I consciousnesses, you add 2 receiving consciousnesses. They come to the analysis by objects. So there are 6 kinds of objects, and you all know these 6 kinds. So the first one is visible object, the second one audible object, the third one separate object, the fourth one tangible, the third one is odorous object, the fourth one separate object, and the fifth one tangible object, or in other words, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch. And touch is just the combination of 3 essential elements. Earth element, wind element, fire element, and wind element. And then the last one is Dhamma object. And there are 6 kinds of Dhamma objects, right? What is 1? 5 sensitivities. Eye sensitivity, ear sensitivity, and so on. And then subtle matter, 16 subtle matter, and 3 cetas, 4 cetasikas, and 5 nibbana, right?
Yeah.
And 6 concepts, panyati. So these 6 kinds of objects are collectively called Dhamma object. Now, classification by way of doors, page 136. How many changes arise through eye door? 46, right? Yeah. So all types of consciousness that arise through eye door take the visible object as object. So, visible object is taken by not only eye consciousness, but also by other types of consciousness arising in that thought process. Now, please visualize that the diagram of thought process. 5 sense door adverting, and then seeing consciousness, and then receiving, investigating, determining, and then javanas and the dharmas. All these states take the visible object as object. So we see with eye consciousness, but we take visible object with other types of consciousness as well. So the object of the eye consciousness thought process is the visible object of sight. And that visible object is present. So, eye consciousness takes present visible object as object. Now, when you look at the diagram I made, in the diagram, the object is also shown. So, the visible object is always there so long as there are moments of consciousness in that diagram. So that means the visible object is present, or it has arisen and it is existing when that thought process arises. So all types of consciousness that arise through eye door take present visible object as object. The same with all types of consciousness that arise through ear door take audible object or sound which is present. So present audible object or sound as object. And all types of consciousness that arise through nose door take smell of present odorous object as object. And all types of consciousness that arise through what door? Tongue door take present taste or sighted object as object. And all types of consciousness that arise through body door take present tangible object or present touch as object. So the object of these chatas that arise through 5 sense doors is always present. If they are past or if they are future, they are taken by not this thought process, but by mind door thought process. Then there are types of consciousness that arise through mind door, right? How many of them are there?
67.
Huh? 67. So these types of consciousness take all 6 kinds of objects. So that means they take sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and also the Dhamma objects. So these types of consciousness take 6 kinds of objects. And these can be present or past or future, and also time free. independent of time. So mind or thought process or types of consciousness that arise through mind or thought process can take, or actually all objects. It can take 6 kinds of objects, and these 6 kinds of objects can belong to 3 times, and also they can belong to no time at all. And then there are door-free types of consciousness. What are the door-free types of consciousness? $19, right? 2, investigating. 8, sense sphere vipaka, right? Sense sphere resultant. 5, form sphere resultant, and 4, formless sphere resultant. So these 19 chetas have the function of what? How many functions? 3 functions, right? Relinking, bhavanga, and death or duty. Now these types of consciousness, when they arise independent of doors, take actually 6 kinds of objects, and they can be either present or past, and it is said that there is no future. And then they can be concepts also. Now these types of objects, when they are presented to these 19 types of consciousness, are either karma or karma nimitta or gati nimitta. Karma means karma which is past. Karma nimitta means something associated with that karma, and some instrument used when performing that karma. And gati nimitta means sign of destiny. That means some symbols or signs of the existence where he is going to be reborn. So these 3 are technically called, the first one is karma, the second one karma nimitta, and the third one gati nimitta. You can find these on page 138. Now, karma nimitta, and gati nimitta are actually 6 kinds of objects. But here, with regard to 19 types of consciousness, they are technically called karma or karma nimitta or gati nimitta. So, karma nimitta means the sign of karma, and gati nimitta means sign of destiny. That means sign of, or the symbol of a realm into which the dying person is about to be reborn. So, we will study these again at the end of 5th chapter, in the last section of 5th chapter. So, karma means kusala or akusala karma performed in the past. And karma nimitta or sign of karma means an object or image associated with a good or evil deed that is about to determine rebirth, or an instrument used to perform it. For example, a devout person may see the image of a monk or temple. A physician may see the image of patients. A butcher may hear the groans of slaughtered cattle or see an image of a butcher knife. So these are called karma nimitta. And then gati nimitta means the sign of the realm into which a dying person is to be reborn. So if a person is going to be reborn in the celestial world or the heavenly rebirth, then he may see celestial mansions or celestial nymphs if a person is about to be reborn as an animal, then he may see forests or fields. And if a person is going to be reborn in hell, then he may see hellfire or dogs running after him and so on. So these are called signs of destiny. So one of these three presents itself to the mind of a person who is about to die. Either karma or sign of karma or sign of destiny. Now, with regard to these door-free types of consciousness, it is said in the manual that the object is sixfold. So there are 6 kinds of objects, and according to the situation, that object has usually been apprehended in one of the 6 doors in the immediately preceding existence, as either a present or past object, or as a concept. Now, let's consider dying thought process. You don't have the diagram for dying thought process. Dying thought process goes something like this. Let's say bhavanga, vibrating bhavanga, arrested bhavanga, and then 5 sense door adverting, seeing consciousness, receiving, investigating, determining, and then 5 moments of jhavanas. Because the person is at the time too weak, and so the jhavanas arise only 5 times. And after the jhavanas there may be registering, or there may be not. Immediately after jhavanas or registering, or immediately after bhavangas, death occurs. That one ceta arises, which is called chuti ceta, death consciousness. Immediately after that consciousness arises rebirth consciousness. So there is no gap of time between death in one life and rebirth in another life. However distant the places may be, there is no gap of time between death consciousness and rebirth consciousness. So a man will die here and, let's say, maybe reborn in Asia. So even in that case, the death consciousness is immediately followed by relinking or rebirth consciousness. Now, death consciousness is actually the same as bhavanga consciousness and rebirth consciousness, right? In one given life, rebirth consciousness, bhavanga consciousness, and death consciousness are the same, of the same type. Then, immediately following the death consciousness is rebirth consciousness. Okay. Now, what is the object of rebirth consciousness? It is said that rebirth consciousness takes the object taken by the jhavanas in the dying thought process. So those jhavanas can be either 5 sense door jhavanas or mind door jhavanas. But whatever they are, the rebirth consciousness takes the object taken by the jhanas in the dying thought process. So in the manual, it is said, according to the situation, that object has usually been apprehended in one of the 6 doors in the immediately preceding existence. So that means just that. That means the object which rebirth consciousness takes is the object which was taken by the jhanas in the dying thought process, previous dying thought process. And those objects can be either present or past or a concept. Now, there is a word in Pali, Ibunyena, and in English, according to the situation. Now, what that means is, there are beings who are said to have no mind. There are mindless beings. So mindless beings are those who get the 5th jhana in the life of a human being, or in the life as a deva, and then they develop a special kind of that 5th jhana, and as a result of that, they are reborn as mindless beings. And then, although they are mindless, one day they have to die. So after their death, there must come rebirth consciousness. In that case, the rebirth consciousness, after the life of a mindless being, cannot take the object which has been taken by jhanas in the previous life, simply because there are no jhanas or no mental activities whatsoever in the life of those mindless beings. So that is why it is said according to situation. In that case, the rebirth consciousness takes the object presented by powerful past, one of powerful past karmas. Now, if you don't understand quite clearly, don't be don't be depressed. We will study them again in the last section of the 5th chapter. But here, just note that the object of the door-free types of consciousness are 6 kinds of objects. That means sight, sound, and so on. And they can be either past or present. And they are the ones that are taken by the jhanas in the previous death thought process. And these objects are technically called karma or karma nimitta or gati nimitta. Karma or sign of karma or destiny of, sign of destiny. So either one of them becomes the object of rebirth consciousness. And they can be concepts also. Okay, now you look at the chart on page 141. I will find out which consciousness take which object. So, I consciousness, there are 2 I consciousnesses. One is the result of wholesome karma and the other result of unwholesome karma. These 2 types of consciousness take what as object? present visible form or present visible object. And 2 ear consciousnesses take present sound as object. 2 nose consciousnesses take present smell. 2 tongue consciousnesses take present taste. And 2 body consciousnesses take present tangible object as object. That's easy. Now what is the next one? Mind element. The Pali word for mind element is manodhatu. Now manodhatu is a name of 2 sampatichana, receiving consciousnesses, and 1 panchadvara vajana. So these 3 types of consciousnesses are collectively called manodhatu or mind element. So later on, if we want to refer to these types of consciousness collectively, we will use this word, manodhatu or mind element. So when we say mind element, please understand that it means 3 types of consciousness. What are the 3? 2 receiving consciousness and 1 5 sense door adverting. So these 3 are called, you point out here, manodhatu. Panchadvara vajana and sampatichana. These 3 types of consciousness that are called mind element take present 5 objects as object. Now here, they take present 5 objects means 1 at a time, not 5 objects at a time. Now if you remember the thought process, see, in the idle thought process, seeing thought process, there are investigating, there are 5 sense door adverting and receiving, right? And similarly in the hearing thought process, smelling thought process, tasting thought process, and touching thought process, they arise. Panchadvara vajana and sampatichana. So they take not present visible object only, not present sound only, and so on, but they take all 5. That means they can take all 5 kinds of objects, but not at one time, so at different times. And they are the time of their objects is also present. So they take present objects as objects. Now the next box, investigating 3, smile producing 1, sense sphere, what's that? Beautiful result 8. Now first, 3 investigating, 3 Santirana Chetas. Now you may look at the chart. 3 Santirana Chetas, 1 smile producing Asita Upada, and 8 Kama Vichara Vipakas. How many altogether? 12. So these 12 take what as object? Sense sphere Cheta 54. All 54 Kama Vajra Chetas and 52 Chetasikas and 28 Rupas. Right. So, 3 investigating, 1 smiling, and then 8 Kama Vajra Vipakas, right? Now, among the 3 investigating consciousnesses, there are 2 that are accompanied by Upeka, right? They have the function of what? How many functions do they have? 5, right? relinking, bhavanga, death, investigating, and registering. So, when they do the function of investigating, registering, they take some objects, and smiling consciousness also takes some other objects. But their objects are always what? Kama vajra. Kama vajra, 54 kama vajra chetas, 52 chetasikas, and 28 rupas. Okay, next group that I told you. Unwholesome consciousness, 12 unwholesome consciousness, and then sense sphere, beautiful consciousness dissociated from knowledge. That means jnana vipayukta. There are how many? 4. And then functional consciousness also 4. Altogether 20. So please point them out. 12 akusala chetas, and then 4 kama vajra sobhana kusala jnana vipayukta. And then kama vajra sobhana kiriya jnana vipayukta. So 12 plus 4 plus 4, 20. These 20 types of consciousness take mundane cheta 81, 81 lokiya chetas, 52 chetasikas, 28 rupas, and concepts, panyatis. Now, unwholesome chetas, akusala chetas. Akusala chetas cannot take lokuttara things as objects. So they take only that are lokiya, that pertain to mundane only. In the manual on page 141, the 9 supramundane states, the 4 paths, 4 fruits and nibbana, because of their extreme purity and profundity, cannot be apprehended by any unwholesome chetas. That means unwholesome cheta cannot take lokuttara chetas and nibbana as objects because they are so pure and so profound. And also they cannot be taken by chetas that are not accompanied by knowledge. In order to take lokuttara cheta and nibbana as object, the consciousness must be accompanied by panya or knowledge. So those that are not accompanied by panya or knowledge, either kusala or kiriya, cannot take supramundane things as objects. So they take only mundane objects. And mundane objects are 81 mundane chetas, 52 chetasikas, 28 rupas, and concepts. The Putojanas and Sekhas cannot know the path and fruition consciousness of an Arahant. Since they have not attained these states themselves, these two chetas remain inaccessible. Oh, that is what is next one. Okay, now the next one, the next box is what? Sense sphere, beautiful consciousness associated with knowledge, jnana sampayutta. 4. And 1, abhinya, kusala abhinya. Abhinya means 5th jhana. So abhinya is taken as only 1 here. So there are altogether 5 chetas in this group. So kama, vachara, sobhana, kusala accompanied by jnana and abhinya. Kusala abhinya. So 5. They can take 87 chetas. That means all chetas except arahata magga and arahata phala. 52 cetasikas, 28 rupas, nibbana and panyati. Almost all objects they can take. The only thing they cannot take are only 2, and they are arahata magga ceta and arahata phala ceta. Now, if you look at the chetas on the left side, they are kusala ceta, only kusala ceta, right? So they do not arise in arahants. They arise in putujanas and sotapannas, sakadagamis and anagamis only, right? So the consciousness arising in putujanas, sotapannas, sakadagamis and anagamis cannot take the mind of an arahant as an object. That is why arahata magga and arahata phala chetas are left out. A putujana cannot take the mind of, say, arahant as an object. And also a sotapanna, sagadagami and anagami cannot take the mind of of an arahant as object. Now why? Because simply they have not attained these chetas. If they have attained these chetas, they might be able to take those chetas as objects. Since they have not yet attained them, they cannot take them as objects. That means a putujana cannot take the Sotavati magga and Sotavati phala ceta as object, simply because he has not attained. And what about Sotapanna? Can he take the Sakadagami magga and phala as object? No. So lower noble persons cannot take the consciousnesses of higher noble persons. But higher noble persons can take the consciousnesses of lower noble persons. And here also, take as object means immediately after the enlightenment thought process. Immediately after enlightenment, there arise in the mind of those who have enlightened the thought process called reflection thought process. So after the enlightenment thought process, the reflection thought processes arise in those noble persons, and they are the reflection of magga, reflection of phala fruition, reflection of nibbana, reflection of mental defilements which have been eradicated, and reflection on the mental defilements that are remaining. So there are these 5 kinds of reflection thought processes arising following the enlightenment thought process. These types of consciousness, kama, vasara, sobhana, accompanied by jnana, accompanied by panya, arise in those thought processes. So, in those thought processes, these kama, vachara, kusala, accompanied by jnana, arise, and they can take one's own magga as object, one's own phala as object, nibbana as object, and then mental defilements as object. So, the kama, vachara, kusala that are accompanied by jnana can take altogether 87 chaitas, 52 chaitasikas, 28 rupas, nibbana, and panyati. Now, kusala abhinya. Abhinya means direct knowledge or supernormal knowledge. Now, abhinya is a name for fifth jhana actually. So, if a person wants to get the abhinya, he must have already attained 5 jhanas, actually attained all 9 jhanas. And then he practices again and say he attains the supernormal knowledges. Among the supernormal knowledges, there is one by which a person can know the consciousness of another person. Now, we say reading other people's mind, right? Now, when we read other people's mind, we do not really see their mind, we do not really know their mind, but we just make conclusions from, say, what one seems to be thinking. So, say if you see a man's face red and something like that, you say, oh, he is angry. So that is by inference and not by direct seeing his mind. But by the abhinya, they can see or they can take the mind or the consciousness of another person as object. That is the difference. So abhinya is direct seeing. But what we do when we say I read his mind means just say coming to conclusion by inference. So that kind of abhinya, if a person attains that abhinya knowledge, then he can take the consciousness of another person as object. So in that case, for example, a sotabana, let's say, a sakadagami. So a sakadagami, if he has attained abhinya also, then he will be able to take the magga citta of other persons, other sakadagamis and sotabanas as object. But we putthajanas cannot. Putthajanas cannot take the magga cittas of any noble person as object. But when one has become a sotabana and one attains abhinya, then with that abhinya, he can take the sotapatti magga consciousness of other persons. So that is the difference. And then nibbana. Nibbana can be taken by, say, kama, vajra, sobhana, jnana, sampayutta, kusala 4, and kusala abhinya. Now, do kama, vajra, kusala, right? Kama, vajra, kusala, accompanied by jnana, arise in us, in our minds? Do we have these 4 types of consciousness? Yes, sometimes no, right? Then, can we take Nibbana as object? Huh? Yes or no?
Yes.
Since we have never attained, we have never realized Nibbana, we cannot take Nibbana as object. So, the Kamavachara Kusala accompanied by Jnana, although they arise in worldlings, they cannot take Nibbana as object. Only those who have attained enlightenment can Nibbana as object. So sometimes we may make a wish, right? May I attain Nibbana, right? And say, I want to attain Nibbana, so I do this meritorious deed, or I practice meditation. And so my mind is set on attainment of Nibbana. But that Nibbana is not the real Nibbana. That Nibbana is just a concept, actually. Something that they say is Nibbana, and I want to go there, something like that. I want to attain it. So the Nibbana, the ordinary persons or worldling or Putthojanas are said to take is not the real Nibbana. Okay, then Panyati is easy. Panyati is concepts. So concepts can be taken by these types of consciousness. Now the next the next box is Kamavachara, beautiful, associated with knowledge, functional. So Kiriya. Kamavachara Kiriya accompanied by Jnana. How many of them are there? Oh, there are 4, right? And then Abhinya Kiriya. That means Rupavachara Kiriya 5. And then 1, mind or adverting. What happened? Altogether 6. They take all objects as objects. That means they can take all objects as objects. All objects means 89 Jaitas, 52 Jaitasikas, 28 Rupas, and then Nibbana and Panyana. Here also, not every functional Kamavachara Somana, functional consciousness accompanied by Jnana, can take all objects. It is only the Jnana Samyuta Kiriya consciousness that arises in the Buddhas. So only the Buddhas can know everything. So for others, it cannot take all objects as objects. Kiriya Abhinya, that is Abhinya arising in the Buddhas and Arahants. So Kiriya Abhinyas also can take all types of consciousness, all Chaitasikas, all Rupas, Nibbana and Panyati. Now here, Arahata Magga and Arahata Phala are also included in the objects. That is because Jnana Samyuta Kiriya. Now, for example, a person becomes an Arahant. So immediately after the enlightenment thought process, there are again reflection thought processes. When reflection thought processes arises, he is already an Arahant. So in that case, Kiriya Jaitas arise there, not Kusala Jaitas. So that Kiriya Jaita arising in the reflection thought process can take Arahata Magga as object, Arahata Phala as object. So here they are not accepted, they are also taken. So there are altogether 89 chetas and so on, taken by these 6 types of consciousness. And then Vottabana, it is very strange, right? Vottabana is not accompanied by jnana, right? Vottabana belongs to what type, what group? Educa group, fruitless, right? But it is said here that it can take all objects. That means it can take Nibbana as object, right? Very strange. No or yes? since it is in the book, it is yes.
Yeah, in the book it says yes, in the book.
Now, please do not be misled by the name Vottabana, right? Vottabana is what? Manodwara Vajana. And Manodwara Vajana arises in which door? Which sense door? Mind door, right? When it does the function of adverting, it arises in mind door, right? When it functions as determining, it arises in 5 sense doors, right?
Yeah.
So here, it is arising through mind door. So when it arises through mind door, or when it arises in the mind door thought process, it is adverting. So since it can precede the Buddha's consciousness, Buddha's, say, all-knowing wisdom consciousness. For example, Buddha wants to know something, right? Then Buddha can know everything. So when Buddha knows something, there is this mind or thought process. So in that mind or thought process, the first active theta is mind or adverting. So since every type of consciousness in one thought process must take the same object, Manodwara Vajana can take the same object as all-knowing wisdom. So, although Vottabana or what? Mind or adverting. Mind or adverting is mentioned here, we must understand that not any or every mind or adverting can take all objects. Only that which precedes the all-knowing thought, all-knowing wisdom thought process. Okay, the others are easy. Second and fourth, Vajra changes. What are the second and fourth Arupa Vajra changes? Two from Kusala, two from Vipaka, and two from Kiriya, right? So the second Cheta is, the Pali name of the second Cheta is what?
English.
Vijnananchayatana. Let's say infinite consciousness, right? And the fourth, neither perception nor non-perception. So these Chetas take Mahagata objects as objects, sublime objects as objects. Sublime here or Mahagata here means just the first Arupa Vajra Cheta and the third Arupa Vajra Cheta. If you remember the first chapter, there are 4 Arupa Vajra Kusalas first, right? So the first one takes what as object? Infinite space, right? And the second takes first consciousness as object. Third takes absence of first consciousness as object. And the fourth takes the third Arupa Vajra consciousness as object. Right? So please remember that. Again, first Arupa Vajra consciousness, what is its object? Infinite space. Second Arupa Vajra consciousness, the object of second Arubhavajara consciousness is first Arubhavajara consciousness. The object of third Arubhavajara consciousness is absence of first Arubhavajara consciousness. And the object of fourth Arubhavajara consciousness is the third Arubhavajara consciousness. So the object of the second and the fourth is respectively first Arubhavajara consciousness and third Arubhavajara consciousness. All Arubhavajara consciousness and all Rupavajara consciousness are called what? Mahagata, right? Sublime. But here, Mahagata means, in this context, Mahagata means not all Mahagata Chetas, because there are how many Mahagata Chetas? How many sublime Chetas? 27. 15 Rupavajaras and 12 Arupavajaras. But here Mahagata means, or sublime means only first and third. So 3 first consciousnesses and 3 third consciousnesses. Only 6 of them here. The chapters are all interrelated. The first chapter helps you to understand here, and then you have to understand some of the data and objects mentioned here with reference to thought processes, and also with reference to the birth consciousness and so on. So all are interconnected. Okay, next one is form sphere consciousness. Rupavajara consciousness 15, and then first and third Arupavajara consciousness 6, altogether 21. So these 21 chetas take panyati, concepts, as object. So Rupavajara chetas take concepts as objects. First and third Arupavajara chetas take concepts as object, right? What are the concepts? You don't know? You do. Yeah? Now turn to page 142. Those are the objects. I mean, those are the concepts. Now, these perpendicular columns. So, Kasina 10, that means Kasina signs, they are concepts. And then foulness 10, that means loathsomeness of the body, so they are 10. And then body, that means head, hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, and so on, 32 parts of the body. And then breath. And then beings, that means all beings, the objects of metta, karuna, mudita, ubeka. So beings of metta, beings of karuna, compassion, beings objects of mudita, joy, and beings objects of equanimity, ubeka. So there are 4 kinds of beings here. And then infinite space. This is also a concept, and nothingness of the first type of first Arupavajara consciousness. This is also a concept. So there are said to be altogether how many concepts? 25, 26, 27, 28, right? 28 types of concepts. Kasina concepts 10, foulness concepts 10, body concept that means head hair, body hair, and so on, 1. Breath concept, 1. Being concept, actually 4, right? But each one for metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha. And then infinite space and nothingness of first arubhavajara consciousness. Now, the first jhana, there are 3 first jhana chetas. 3 first jhana chetas take 25 concepts as object. Those are kasina 10, foulness 10, body 1, breath 1, beings of metta, karuna, and mudita. So 25. Then second jhana. The objects of second jhana are only 14 concepts. 10 kasina concepts, breath, and 3 kinds of beings. The foulness concepts and body concepts are said to be so gross that the consciousness needs vittaka to keep it on these objects. When the current is too strong, you need to pull, say, to keep the boat steadily. So in the same way, these objects are gross objects. The foulness of the body, you look at the corpse and then festering or the blood oozing out of the body and so on. So they are so gross that you need vittaka to keep your mind on these objects. So those that are not vittaka cannot take them as objects. That is why second jhana cita cannot take foulness concept and body concept as objects. So 25 minus 11, 14 concepts. And the third jhana, the 3 third jhana chetas can take also these 14, and the 4th jhana also these 14. Now, 5th jhana. 5th jhana can take only 12 types of concepts. Kasina concepts, breath concepts, and being concept for equanimity. And then first arubhavajara jhana consciousness takes infinite space as object, only 1. And third arubhavajara jhana consciousness takes nothingness of the first arubhavajara jhana consciousness as object. So they take only 1 kind of concept. So when in the last diagram it says these 21 types of consciousness take concepts, we must understand in detail according to this diagram. Table number 3.6. So there are altogether 25, 26, 27, 28 types of concepts, and a number of them are taken by first jhana, second jhana, and so on. So altogether, those that take paññatti only as objects are 21. 15 rubhavajara chetas and first and third arubhavajara chetas. Now we come to the last one. Lokuttara chetas 8. Or 40 here. They take nibbana as object. That's easy, right? Now, supramundane types of consciousness take nibbana as object. In order to familiarize ourselves with these objects, and then particular types of consciousness taking particular types of objects, we have to go through it again and again. It's not easy. And first, we divide objects into 4 kinds. We will do just that. There are many others, but it will become too complicated. So 4 kinds of objects: Kamavajra object, Rupavajra object, Arupavajra object, and Lokutra, supramundane object. Or we can add one more: concepts. So let's say 5, right? Kamavajra object, Rupavajra object, Arupavajra object, Lokutra object, and concepts. Now, Rupavajra object and Arupavajra object are called Mahagata object. So, Kamavajra object, Mahagata object, Lokutra object, concept object. Okay. Now, if you look at the table number 3.5, Chaku Vijnana takes what as object? Kamavajra or Mahagata or Lokutra or concept? Kamavajra as object. So, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, they take Kamavajra objects as objects. Now, what are Kamavajra objects? Kamavajra, 54 Kamavajra Chetas, 52 Chetasikas, and 28 Rupas. They are called Kamavajra objects, right? I can tell you that, right? So, what are Kamavajra objects? 54 Kamavajra Chetas, 52 Chetasikas, 28 Rupas. They are called Kamavajra objects. And what are Mahagata objects, sublime objects? Here in this context, first Arupavajra Jhana consciousness and third Arupavajra Jhana consciousness. They are called Mahagata here. And Lokutra object means, let us call it here Nibbana. Actually, Lokutra Chetas are also included in Lokutra object, so Nibbana object. And then concepts, there are 28 types of concepts, right? Okay, let's go back to the chart. So eye consciousness takes what object is object? Kamavajra object is object, because visible object is one of the 28 rupas. Similarly, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, they take Kamavajra objects as objects. Right? Okay, mind element takes Kamavajra objects as objects. And then 12 types of consciousness. Kamavajra. And then 20 types of consciousness. Kamavajra, Mahagata, and concepts. Right? And then 5 types of consciousness. Next group. Kamavajra, Mahagata, let's say Nibbana, right? Nibbana and Panyati. And then 6 types of consciousness. All, right? All means all Chetas, all Chetasikas, all Rupas, Nibbana and concepts. And then next 6, only Mahagata. Object. And then 21 types of consciousness, concepts. And Lokutra, 8 types of consciousness, take Nibbana as object. Right. Now, are you familiar with this now? Let's see. Those that take Kamavajra object only as object. They must not take Kamavajra and Mahagata, or Kamavajra and Lokutra and so on. They must take only Kamavajra objects as object. How many? Look at the chart.
11, 3,
2, 2, 2, 2, 2, right? 3,
13,
12.
25.
Altogether
25.
25, right? So these 25 take Kamavajra objects only as object. No Mahagata objects, no Lokutra objects, no concepts, right? And then Mahagata only as object. Those that take Mahagata only as object. 6. They are second and fourth Arupavajra consciousness. Those that take Nirvana only as object. Oh, I mean, those that take concepts only as object. 21, right? Those that take Nirvana only as object. 8. And those that take Kamavajra object as object, that means both Kamavajra and others. Now, among the Lokiya Chaitas, are there Kamavajra objects? Yes, right? Among Lokiya Chaitas, there are 54 Kamavajra Chaitas. So, against 20, you see Lokiya, I mean, mundane Chaita 11 and so on. So, Kamavajra objects are included there, right? And then 87 Chaitas, Kamavajra,
Yeah.
yes, included there. Mahagata, no Kamavajra. Panyati, no Kamavajra. Nibbana, no Kamavajra. So those that take Kamavajra as objects, how many?
Oh, 56.
20 plus, right?
Yeah.
5 plus
36.
6,
25.
right? So these 31 type of consciousness. These 31 types of consciousness take Kamavajra and others as object. But the other 25 take Kamavajra only as object. Now you see this? Those that take Kamavajra only as object. Those that take Kamavajra and others as object. Right? So those that take Kamavajra only as object, how many? 25. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 12. Those that take Kamavajra also as object. That means they may take others also. They are 25, 6. Right? Okay. Those that take Mahagata only as object. 6. Those that take Mahagata as object. The objects may include Kamavajra also. Right? Now against 20, look at it. There is Rupa. There are 28, Lokiya Chaitas, right? So there is Mahagata there, right? And then among 87 Chaitas, there are Mahagata Chaitas. And among 89 Chaitas, there are Mahagata Chaitas. So, those that take Mahagata also as object, 20 plus 5 plus 6. Those that take Nibbana also as object. Nibbana and others.
6.
5, 6, right? 11. Good. Then those that take paññatti, let's say paññatti only as object, 21, right? Those that take paññatti as object, I mean concepts as object,
32.
31. 20 plus 5 plus 6. Right. Okay. It's a little confusing. There are many more. But I will not make you more confused. So I think this table, the table number 3.5 and 3.6, you have to make yourself very familiar with them, or at least you must be able to find out, looking at these tables, what chetas take what kinds of objects, and say what kind of concepts are taken by what types of consciousness. So Citta is never without an object, right? The very nature of citta, the very characteristic of citta is to be aware of the object. So it must have an object. And so whenever citta arises, it must have an object. And so by this section, we understand which types of objects are taken by which types of consciousness, or which types of consciousness take which types of objects. And they are very clearly defined here. Say, eye consciousness takes only present visible object, ear consciousness takes only present audible object, and so on. Those that arise through 5 sense door thought processes. So for them, there is no difficulty, because they take only present 5 objects as objects. But for those that arise through mind door thought processes, or through mind door, there are a lot. It's very, very wide and very complicated. But we will just note here that the object of those types of consciousness that arise through mind door, all of these. So they can be 6 kinds of objects, and they can belong to 3 times, and also they can belong to no time at all. Now, with regard to Nibbana and Paññatti, Nibbana and Paññatti are called independent of time. So Nibbana is not present, not past, not future. And concept is not present, not past, and not future. So these two, Nibbana and Paññatti concept, are said to be timeless. Timeless means free from time. We cannot assign any time to them. And why is that? Nibbana is, say, outside time, because its intrinsic nature is without arising, without continuation, and without passing away. Nibbana has no arising. That is why there is no disappearing for Nibbana. That is why Nibbana is called timeless. So we cannot say when Nibbana arises. If we say Nibbana arises or Nibbana exists, then we imply that Nibbana is impermanent, or Nibbana must go away, right? Because when there is an arising, there must be disappearing. That is law of nature. So Nibbana is called Kala Vimutta, independent of time, because it has no arising, no continuation, no change, and no disappearing. And concepts are timeless because they are devoid of intrinsic nature. Now concepts have no characteristic of their own, no intrinsic nature of their own. Now we call a person a man, right? What we call a man is a concept. It is not ultimate reality. And that concept has no intrinsic nature. Because if we analyze a being, if we analyze a man, then we will end up with 5 aggregates. Or to reduce him to the smallest particles, then just material properties and cetas and cetasikas. So what are real in a man are just rupa, ceta and cetasika. What we call a man or a woman is just a designation. It's just for the ease of use. So concepts have no intrinsic nature of their own, and so we cannot say a concept arises at this time and then it disappears at another time. Since we cannot say like that with regard to concepts, concepts are also regarded as timeless. The concept may be forgotten by people, but it does not mean that it has disappeared altogether, because at another time it may appear again. Now the name Sumedha, the name of the hermit, say, who aspired for Buddhahood, right? He aspired for Buddhahood for incalculables and 100,000 years ago, billions of years ago, let us say. And then in the time between, his name was forgotten. Nobody knew about him. Then Gautama Buddha appeared, and then Gautama Buddha taught us that there was a hermit called Sumedha, how many eons ago, and so Gautama Buddha sort of revived that Panyati. So that Panyati, actually that Panyati does not exist, but we cannot say that that Panyati has disappeared altogether. At one time it can come back, because it has no intrinsic nature, no nature of its own, no characteristic of its own, and so concepts are also called timeless. So Nibbana and concepts are timeless. Ceta, cetasika and rupa belong to time. So they can be past or present or future. Now what about Mahagata? Say second and fourth Arubhavajara Cetas take Mahagata as object, right? Mahagata here means first and third Arubhavajara Cetas respectively. Okay, let's take an example. Second Arubhavajara Ceta. It takes first Arubhavajara Ceta as object, right? Now, what is that first Arubhavajara Ceta as an object there? Is it present, or is it past, or is it future? It is past. Only after you get first Arubhavajara jhana can you attain second Arubhavajara jhana, right? So you, after attaining first Arubhavajara jhana, you try to attain second Arubhavajara jhana. You practice meditation to attain second Arubhavajara jhana, right? So when you practice meditation, you take the first Arupa Vajra jhana as object. So at that time, first Arupa Vajra jhana consciousness is already past. So the objects of second Arupa Vajra cetas and fourth Arupa Vajra cetas are past, not present, not future, right? Yeah. So cetas, cetasikas and rupas belong to either present or past or future. So we can say it takes a present object as object, or past object as object, or future object as object. But with regard to Panyati, we cannot say it is present or past or future, and with regard to Nibbana also we cannot say whether it is present or past or future. So they are beyond this time frame. So, please read the manual, and if you do not clearly understand the manual, just wait until you reach the 5th chapter. Okay, any questions?
Okay, if the object on the door-free consciousness, if the object, it starts with the patisandhi, and then it's the same for the bhavanga, and then it passes to the chuti.
Yes.
And then the following patisandhi, doesn't that take the same as the previous? It doesn't. The manual
Yes.
seems to say that, but I
No.
could be.
Huh? In order to understand this, you have to see the diagram of dying thought process. We do not have yet that diagram, right?
Mhm.
So,
And then it says on page 138, middle of the page, the object of the door-free consciousness in any given existence is generally identical with the object of the last cognitive process in the immediately preceding existence.
yeah.
So it sounds like it's the same object from the chuti to
No. You confuse Chuti and then Javanas. Right? Previous to Chuti, there are Javanas. You have to see that thought process. Say there are sense door adverting, and then seeing consciousness, let us say, and then receiving, investigating, determining, and javanas, 5 javanas, and there may or may not be the dharamana, and then chuti. So that chuti takes the object taken by the rebirth, right? The first consciousness in that life. But next rebirth takes the object of javanas, not object of chuti. So they are different, right?
take your word for it.
It's their diagram, but my diagram is much better.
We don't have that diagram.
Diagrams. Oh, page 225? Okay, please look at page 225 there. Let us see. All right, this is it as mine. Now, you see, right? Old life, right? Old life ends with the age death, and immediately after it, rebirth, right? So from there, a new life begins. So old life or life number 1, and new life, life number 2. So the object of rebirth is the object taken by the javanas previous to it. I mean, not immediately previous to it. And the object of death is the same as, you see the dots there at the beginning of the line, or another black line, darker line. Oh, there, up there, right? So above that, you see old object, right? So that old object is the same as the old object on the left, right? So the object of death is the same as the object of Padisani there. But the object of Padisani and the new life is not the same, right? So it takes the object taken by Javanas. So there is difference of objects from death in one life and rebirth in another life. But in one life, the object of rebirth, Bhavanga and Julius is the same.
That makes more sense. Otherwise, one life would just proceed
only
all
one
the
object will
same.
go on and on and
Yeah.
on. Good question. Yeah. We study the death thought process at the end of the 5th chapter. Will come to this. Okay.
One thing, in the book say the mind element is triple mind element.
Yes.
That means 2 receiving and 1 final everything.
Yes.
On the idol, 3 chitta not go to the idol. But why we call them a triple mind element? Is why they have the name like that? Why they call Mano Dhatu, but it not come to my door. The 3, I don't know why they put a triple mind element.
You confuse mind door with mind.
Yeah.
Here it is a mind element, not mind door element, right?
Yeah.
And it is just a name for these 3 types of consciousness. Because if you look at the 2 words separately, the Pali word mano means consciousness, right?
Yeah.
And then dhatu means just the element. So actually, mano dhatu can mean all types of consciousness. But in Abhidhamma usage, mano dhatu, the name mano dhatu is restricted to only these 3 types of consciousness. Only these 3 types of consciousness are called mano dhatu. Because when analyzing by way of elements, now in the 7th chapter, we'll come to these elements. Now the eye consciousness is called Chakku Vijnana Dhatu, seeing consciousness element, something like that. And then hearing consciousness element and so on. So they have their own, their special names as eye consciousness element, ear consciousness element and so on. And so these 3 have this name Mano Dhatu given to them. So actually, as I said before, if you look at the word separately, Mano means all consciousness, right? Mano is the synonym of Vijnana, synonym of Chaita, and Dhatu means element. So Mano Dhatu should mean all types of consciousness, but it doesn't mean that. So it means only the 3 types of consciousness.
In the chart about the conceptual objects of the Mahagata, why is breath a concept?
Now, breath, taken as a breath, is concept. Breath is wind element or air element. So when we concentrate on the breath as wind element, we are doing one kind of meditation. But when we are taking it as a breath, we are doing another kind of meditation. Now, when you practice tranquility meditation, samatha meditation on the breath, then you just try to see the breath as a concept. But if you want to practice vipassana on the breath, then you try to see the air elements there. So you see the breath as not as breath, but as air. So that air is ultimate reality. But the name given to that air as breath is, or say the group of the particles of air element that we call breath. So breath is said to be concept. No, like here, we call it man, right? A man is a concept, and 5 aggregates is ultimate truth. So breath is a concept, air element is ultimate truth. So when we practice vipassana on the breath, we try to see the air element, because vipassana must take ultimate reality as object. Vipassana does not take concept as object, because concept has no beginning, no continuation, no end, and so we cannot see the impermanence of concepts. However much we practice meditation, we will not see the impermanence of concepts, simply because there is no arising and no disappearing. So we do not concentrate on concepts when we practice vipassana meditation.
Iriya, Chitta, they belong to Arahants only. Examples of the 8 beautiful, sensuous, beautiful Chittas. Some of them are not accompanied with finite wisdom.
Right.
But does it mean that there are instances where Arahants do without wisdom?
Right.
And,
Yes.
and how can that happen?
Sometimes, say, we do some meritorious deed. Sometimes we do the deed seriously. But sometimes we are not so careful about doing meritorious deed, but we just do it. So in the same way, sometimes Arahants may do things without paying much attention to it. In that case, their consciousness may not be accompanied by knowledge. And also, Arahants do not know everything, right? Only Buddhas have omniscience. So there are things that Arahants do not know. And so that may also account for why the consciousness not accompanied by knowledge can arise in Arahants.
Bante, talking about the Abhidhamma, that means, so in the book say Abhidhamma know in the past life, recollection, but if they know the future life, maybe.
Yes. Okay. I will refer you to the 9th chapter. In the 9th chapter, 5 Abhidhammas are mentioned, but among them there is no future, no seeing of future. But there is one Abhidhamma, the seeing of future, and that is based on the divine eye. So actually it is included in the Abhidhammas. So we can see future also through Abhidhamma.
I have one more question. hope to follow up this question. In the table 3.5, you mentioned that for the objects, those for noble beings, the lower noble beings cannot take the consciousness of a higher noble
Yes.
being.
Yeah.
But what about those with abhidhamma who can read who can see
Mind.
directly the mind of another being?
Yeah.
Can they take that as an object?
No, even though they have a vinya, they cannot see the mind of the higher noble beings. So only now, let us say, taking consciousness as object. Let's say Magga consciousness as object. One can take one's own Magga consciousness as object during the reflection thought processes, right? Immediately after enlightenment, there is reflection thought process. And so there the Kamādhira Javanas arise, and so they can take one's own Magga as object. But they cannot take another person's Magga Citta as object. That the Kamādhira Javanas. But a Abhidhamma can take the Magga Citta of other persons as object. But they are limited because a lower noble person cannot take the Magga Citta of higher noble person as object. But a lower noble person may be able to take other types of consciousness of the higher noble person as object, but not the path consciousness and fruit consciousness, simply because he has not attained to that stage.
Let's explain why the Matthika can read the mind. That story in the Dhammapada.
Matthika.
Yes. She, the last one who come back.
Yes. Yeah.
And she can read his mind, and he also. She's a lower being than he is at that time. She still can know that he is going back to 99 life.
Yeah.
And being upset with her, and then she tell him to go back to the 100th life.
Yeah.
Is that because that Citta is not the Magga and Phala?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Only the Magga and Phala Cittas are exclusive to that person. And since one has not attained these Cittas, one cannot take them as object. But when remembering past lives, then they remember with Abhidhamma, right? Not with Magga or Phala Cittas. So that is why the Matthika woman can see the mind of the Arahant. Many of you may not be familiar with that story because that later part of the story is not in the translation we use, right? It is in Burlingham's book. There is a story of monks who went to a place for practice of meditation, and then a woman there supported them, and then these monks, she wanted to practice meditation, and so she asked instruction from them, and they give her instructions, and she practiced meditation, and she became enlightened first before the monks who gave her instructions. And then later, and then she not only did she become enlightened, but she also got the ability to see minds of other people. So she knew minds of other people, and one day she found out that those monks did not become enlightened because they need some suitable food. It's very strange. Huh? Suitable food is also important. So she food, their favorite food, and then they offered them. So when they had their favorite food, their minds become settled and they concentrate. So they would get concentration and so they became arhats. So they went back to the Buddha and reported this to the Buddha. Bhante, that woman knew our minds and so on. Then one monk wanted to go there, so he went there. But then, since she knew everything he thought, he was afraid. Right? So he went back and the Buddha sent him back there. Now, later he became an arahant. Then, one day the woman, the monk looked back into the past, what that woman was in past lives. And then at one time, they were husband and wife, and then the wife, what did the wife do there? She tried to kill him, right?
She loved another person and that caused him to be killed.
Yeah. So then the monk thought, oh, this woman had done harm to me in the past. And the woman also knew that the monk was looking back into the past. So she sent mind to the monk and said, Bhante, do not stop there. Say, go back another life. Go back another life where I did something good to you. So the Upasika was anagami, not an arahant, but she was able to read the mind of arahant because the mind she read was not supramundane consciousness. A good question. Oh, this book is out, but these three books are for Chupan Temple, and the other three for Tathagata Center. Because, but I don't remember how much Tathagata Center donated. 300 or 400?
300.
300?
And Chukwang also.
300? So this book, what about? But 100. So maybe 3 for Chukwang. Now they are sold at $25 each. Very good.
Oh,
Jesus. Right? Yeah.
Get to have the wholesale price like the other book.
I have, we have difference of opinion with the BSA. They are too stingy. We have to talk again with the members. Right now they said we'll give discount only when people buy 100 copies and only 10% discount. I said it's too little.
I think you can easily get 100 or 200 copies.
So
how many copies they print?
10,000.
Wow.
I proposed to print 5,000 copies, but they said why not print 10,000 copies? I don't know, and they did. So, and those who donate will get also 3 copies each. Every donation. Names of the donors are given below here. That is for the cost is for color separation only, not for the whole page of book, because you know what, I have it here, the cost for cover design donated by so and so. And that man came to me and told me, but it's not accurate. We donated for the cover. So I told him, no, you do not donate the cover, you donate this color separation for this. Because the cover would cost more than, say, 300 or more than 500, right? Cover for 10,000 copies. So, the donors, the name of the donors are given on every page. One at one place. Yeah. It's well produced. Very good. Okay.
Sadhu, sadhu.
Number
57.
number 57. Two one. We're not going to. And that's how down.
There's a temple on it too.
We leave it like this. Because maybe I tested it. I put in a new one. These are connected by love. Who will receive for Tathagata Seva?
Tucson?